Welcome back once again. All right, that's what happens during the live transmission. And that is it. So, as I earlier stated, we are talking about people in politics. And our main topic today, we want to talk about people, religion, and politics. We're in that particular period once again, every 5 years. And we've seen, politicians are now starting to race because for them, there is no time left. 1 year to go. In August next year, we'll be going back to the polls once again to elect our leaders. And we have to cut that thin line between religion and politics and how the two are interrelated. And joining me in studio, I have Bishop John Warari, who is Executive Member, Interreligion Council of Kenya. Bishop, welcome to the program.
Thank you so very much, and thank you for having me.
Welcome. And as well, we have Dr. Sheikh Hasssan Omar Kinywa, who is a lecturer, religious studies at the University of Nairobi. Daktari, karibu.
Asante sana.
Let's just begin where we should. The politics is already heating up and we all know what's happening. But before we get into that, we have seen a lot of things happening in this country. People killing each other, something that we just discussed in the headlines, and we read it on newspapers almost on a daily basis. Murders, killings, abductions. Let me start with you, Daktari here. What is happening in the country? Are we stressed?
There is a lot of stress actually in this country.
Yes.
Because what we realize is that our politicians, they are just geared toward campaigns.
Yes.
In fact, what I can mention is that as soon as most of them were elected to office when they were elected in 2017, they began the second month to campaign for themselves.
Campaign for 2022.
2022, from that time. And from then, they have made people to be in campaign mode since then.
Yeah.
Because of that, they have also been amassing a lot of wealth from the Wananchi, from the public coffers. In that, then, it means that Wananchi, the common Wananchi, don't have something to put in their table.
They are empty. Their pockets are empty.
Pockets are empty. Children are dying, but politicians are not looking at that.
Yeah.
And that's why you see politicians are just pushing their agenda. For example, you remember when now BBI came. As soon as that came, no politician was listening to anything else. Those for BBI were just BBI. Those against it were just against it. So they were not caring. In fact, they are not, even as we speak.
Yeah.
Politicians are not caring about what Wananchi are going through.
Exactly.
That is the problem.
Bishop, this is where we all should be running to. And every day we wake up in the morning, you hear of a couple that just murdered themselves, somebody just committed suicide on that end of the corner of this country. And it seems that it's not coming to an end anytime soon. Who is to blame out of all this?
Thank you so very much for that question.
Yeah.
It's true that there is stress in the land. People are facing the so-called new normal.
Yeah.
And the reason could be economical factors, because the world at large is going through economic recession. Of course, we are at a crossroad, politically, so to speak. And we have some obligations as a nation. For example, the debt burden.
Yeah.
So our economy is not really as good as it was some 5 years down the line. And so we have less in terms of provisions. Again, the issue of the confinement because of COVID.
Yeah.
And we should also remember that to date, we have about close to 3 million Kenyans who have lost their jobs.
Exactly, since last year.
Since last year.
Yeah.
And that has a trickle-down effect because we are socially knitted together as Africans and as Kenyans. So when you are working, you help your relations and kinsmen. And when you are not working, then they all suffer. And so we are having a lot of stress, and I don't think our society was ready for this, and we've had no coping mechanism.
Yeah.
We've not had a proper psychosocial counseling, and we don't know where to run to.
Yeah.
Because everyone, from the politician to the bishop, and to the sheikh, we are all in the same boat that is being pushed left, right, and center.
Yes.
So it is true, we are in very strange times and moments, but it's not going to be like this forever. And when you've said that couples are killing one another, I'm very, very heartbroken because of that. Or they turn to their children who are angels and they are victims of circumstances. If I differ with you, or if I differ with my spouse, I should leave out the children. I should leave out my other relations. But then there's been gaps. Have we been psychologically prepared? How do I react to my losing a job? How do I react to many other things by contracting corona? You know, some people think now the world has come to an end. We must come out and support one another.
Exactly.
And that is why I'm very happy because of Daktari. We've worked with and sat in many boards with him, that religious leaders are available. We are available to work with our constituents, to work with Kenyans in these hard moments.
But just to bring you in, Daktari, so have we run away from religious leaders, people who initially will go to, you know, in terms of counseling, you go out there and just find somebody who is neutral to talk to. Have we lost that direction as Kenyans? Because actually it was yesterday when we reported in the newspaper that a lady somewhere in Kabete had a disagreement with the husband. And as soon as the husband left, the lady turned to the children. One was, I think, 5 years, another one was 4 years, and another one was 5 months old, who, the moment she was going to strangle the 5-month-old baby, that's when she woke up and realized we've gone wrong as a nation.
Thank you so much for this question. You'll allow me go back to my mentor here before we proceed. You know, there's a statement you know, Arabs tell us that إذا كان رب البيت بالطبل ضاربا فلا تلم الصبيان فيه على الرقص. When you see the head of the house playing music or some musical instruments, don't go and tell the children to stop dancing. If the leader stops the music, children will not dance. So the problem in our country is that it comes from up. Our politicians are always
at loggerheads
with each other, and you know they are doing it for their own interests. Today a politician, I might be a politician from this side, and then I become an arch enemy of my brother here. Then tomorrow you see myself now becoming his closest ally, and then you become our enemy. They are playing games, but you know, people down there, they don't understand these games. They see this is a game. They don't understand this is game. These people fight, then at night they meet somewhere, they take a cup of coffee and say, let us mix them up so that when election comes, we might even merge together. So these are the problem. But what I can say is that I think we religious leaders also have abdicated our roles. Because we were supposed to be with our constituent each and every time. But the only challenge is that you see politicians also, they know that there are some religious leaders who are a little bit hungry. So they go and give them some money. You see them in the churches, and you know, I'll not mention mosque because we have made sure, especially we, Kenya Muslims National Advisory Council, we have said that no politician will be allowed to speak in mosque.
That will be discussed.
So now what we're trying to say is that we religious leaders, it is as if we are not doing what we are supposed to do.
So you are, as you put it, there is a disconnect between what we call the sheep in the Christian language, the sheep and the flock and the shepherd. So who is to blame in this situation? Because we really need to get that solace.
In a way, we religious leaders take the blame. We take the blame. Because at this particular time, we were supposed to put all our heads together and see how we can at least get our people together and tell them that don't worry. Things will be okay.
Things will be okay.
Because as they say in the book of Isaiah 60:22, at the right time, the Lord will make it happen.
Exactly.
So Kenyans will should just be patient, persevere, because things will be okay.
Things will be okay.
COVID will go out. And when people have disagreements in house, as my mentor has said,
yes,
let us not transfer the same to our children. But what I'm trying to say is that anyone who actually, I'm calling upon Kenyans, no one should take their life, because our lives, souls and body belongs to the one who created us, who is God.
Yeah.
So no one should do that. But if you know, there are times when you as a human being, you say that let this bus stop, and then I exit.
Yeah.
Exit alone. If you must exit, please exit alone.
Because that's how you planned your journey.
Yes.
That's how you planned your journey.
Don't force the children to exit.
Absolutely.
Because when you kill them, you have killed our president, you have killed our pastor, you have killed our imam. Please let them be. Just as you are. Yes.
And Bishop, at one particular point, the way Dr. has just stated, because you realize that most people have not gone to church for close to a year or so. Most people would run to church or to mosques every particular day. You know, they go to pray and just have that corner and just have calling that supreme being to intercede. That has completely collapsed. What can we do at least just to bring the spirit of all Kenyans back to where it used to be?
Dr. Kenyu has mentioned something very important.
Yes.
That we should give our constituents hope, our Kenyans.
Yeah.
Nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent. And he's good. He's quoted Isaiah in congratulations, Daktari.
He's a lecturer of religious studies.
Yes. In the same book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verse 10 says, tell the righteous, it shall be well with them. We have a mandate, we call it prophetic mandate, the religious leaders. Ours is to give hope. Ours is to mediate. Ours is to go before God and intercede. And so at this moment, yes, I said that the politicians, Kenyans at large, are all of them are suffering from some stress or depression of some kind.
Exactly.
It is not easy to be a politician.
Yeah.
Because in politics there is a lot of intrigues. Like Dr. Kenyu has said, they will fight and then tomorrow they are together. It's not an easy life.
The way we are seeing right now.
And that is what you are saying right now.
Yes.
And so we, the religious leaders, will have to tell our people the truth.
Yes.
That we hold on a little while longer. Things are going to work out. God is coming through for us. And if somebody has a problem, I would urge them to reach to us. We are available. We'd want to work with them, like the organization of Inerera plus Kenya, where we have very nice counseling facilities. Interreligious Council of Kenya, we have a call line where when you call, there will be a trained professional counselor who is going to listen to you at no cost at all, and we will be able to work with Kenyans. So it is true, we are at a crossroad, and it's complicated, like what Dr. Kenyu has said, by the politicians. They are setting the wrong agenda. They are actually causing anxiety in the nation, because I mentioned debt burden. I mentioned, rather I would even mention other things like bad governance and all that. We are not unique. Other nations are going through the same.
Actually, it's worldwide.
It's worldwide.
Right.
And so I would want to believe that the politicians should tone down. They should slow down, because if you'd stop every Kenyan and measure their BP, I think it's elevated already. Because this look at the newspaper headlines. It's not encouraging. It's not telling us something good. But here we are telling Kenyans that there is God in heaven, and he hears our prayers. And indeed, COVID will come and go.
It will come and go.
Yes, and we are praying that God is going to use our scientists, because faith moves with science. God is going to use our scientists to come up with a vaccine through the power and grace of God that is going to wipe away Makali or the ravaging powers of this COVID.
Exactly.
Yes.
Daktari, just a recent survey showed that almost close to 500 people committed suicide in Kenya in a very short period of time. People committing suicide. In fact, the latest one was a young child around 10 years old. How can we sort this out?
You know, my brother, just as Mchungaji has said, in Inerela, we at Kenya National Muslim Advisory Council, we have counselors. Personally, I serve as a chaplain in 5 universities because I teach in 5 universities. One of them being University of Nairobi, Riara University, Tangaza University, Machakos University, and other universities. In all these universities, I also serve as chaplain, voluntary. I'm not paid for chaplain services. And I can tell you that the time we have seen, the most difficult times are these times, because I can receive more than 100 calls in a day for people who seek advice on these issues. And we have averted and at least stopped more than 100 deaths since COVID began. People who have come to us and told us that now I don't see anything, Sheikh. You are talking to me, but me, I just see darkness.
It's all over.
Yes, I just see darkness. So what do you want? Someone told me, I just want to die. And you start the journey with those people. Why do you want to die? Do you think you are the one who created yourself? Do you think these things will continue forever? And I remind people in the Holy Quran where Allah tells us that wabashiri swabirin. You have to give glad tidings to those who persevere. Alladhina idha aswabatum musiba. Those, when any tragedy strike, qalu inna lillah. They always say, inna lillah, we belong to Allah. Wa inna ilayhi rajiun, and to Allah we shall return. In fact, that's why we always, when you hear anyone who has passed on, you see Muslims and hear them saying, inna lillah wa inna ilayhi rajiun. Meaning that if, for example, I hear my father has died, I should not start wailing, crying. No, I must cry because I'm a human being, but I must remember that inna lillah, we all belong to Allah, and to Allah we shall return. So what we are trying to tell Kenyans, let us have hope. Kuna nuru gizani.
Exactly.
But I'm not talking like the other one. Lakini kuna nuru gizani. There is light somewhere.
Yes,
there is light somewhere.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
And as he has said, our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, told us, Ma anzala Allahu da'an illa wa anzala ma'ahu dawa. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never bring any illness or any disease, but he must bring cure. There is cure for COVID. It's coming. There is cure for HIV and AIDS. There is cure for everything. It's only that scientists also, pharmaceuticals are also, they also play their own game because it's also an industry which want to make money. But there is cure for everything.
There is something Bishop has said that faith goes hand in hand with science. Perhaps, you know, as a bishop, you see people each and every day, parents. Right now, people are going to school. I mean, the pockets are dry. We have got over 1.1 million students joining Form 1. How can we just give hope to that parent who feels like, you know, it's all over now, and you know, I lost my job, there's no any source of income, everything is now coming down tumbling. From your own perspective, how do we move on as a nation?
One, we empathize, we feel with our parents and Kenyans.
Yes.
Of course, even the bishops and the sheikhs, they go through also those hard times. But we must learn to look up. To look up. I always take an example from my parents. They were freedom fighters. My mother was jailed. My father was jailed. And they were mistreated. In fact, they were separated for quite a while. But when my mother was released from committee prison, she went straight to my father's home to wait for the husband who was incarcerated in a place called Manyani. Things were very tough and rough during those moments. Remember, the masters, the colonial masters, were even poisoning the wells from where people used to
draw
go.
water from.
Yes.
Right.
They would drive away the cattle. They would kill and castrate men, and they would actually mess up with our women.
Yeah.
But our parents didn't give up. That is why we are here. They hoped against hope. They looked up to God. They prayed, and they believed that tomorrow will be better than yesterday. And that is what we would urge Kenyans. And I would also add this, and especially to the men folk, that men, please, let's start speaking.
And it's a very big problem. That's a discussion we've had here before.
Yes.
That men, we just don't open up easily.
Well, I think we should now remove the mask.
Yeah.
And accept the fact that things are not okay, and go to Sheikh Kenywa, he is available. Go to Bishop Warari, he is available, and let's talk. Because when you bottle up, when you accumulate issues in you at one time, because you are human, it's going to explode.
Yeah.
And you may project that to your wife, to your boss, to your fellow Kenyan. And the most important thing, and this is how the religious leaders, and especially from the Dialogue Reference Group of Interreligious Council of Kenya, we have been able to mediate. We have been able to broker peace. And the reason how we did, the reason why we succeeded was because we encouraged dialogue.
Yes.
We talk. How I wish, even from this studio, the famous KBC, before I drive off, there is one man
who's already changed,
who is listening, and he will stop me at the lobby and say, Bishop, I want to share with you the things I'm going through. And you should know, really, that you are not alone. We are all going through hard times, and the best thing is we speak it out. We speak it out, what is happening within, and you are going to be helped. If you bottle it up, I can tell you it's going to take toll on you, and you're not going to. So what is difficult? To treat a condition, or to speak, face the shame, if that is what we are ashamed about, and get healed. So I would rather talk, because in talking, I'll get my solution.
Exactly. And Dr. He's raised a very good point. It's like a boiling kind of an eruption. And we saw what happened in Congo the other day. It was an eruption which was boiling underneath the earth. And when it blows out, we see the destruction. That's just like an anger. When you bottle it up for quite a long time, and all of a sudden it blows up out of proportion. But is there hope for the country?
There is great hope for this nation, but it will not just come on itself. I'll begin with we religious leaders must take our role. We must stand firm and see that we take the responsibility which Jesus took, because he stood against the oppressors. We should take the responsibility and do like Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, did. He stood against the oppressors, and that's why, in fact, at the end, people realize that kumbe one can be a religious leader and at the same time a statesman. Because we realized that when he left Mecca, where there was a lot of oppression, and he went in Medina, liberated the people, they made him become the leader in both politics and social matters, and that has been there. Let us stand still. Let us stand like Father Kaisa did. Let us do as all other people did, Reverend Joya and the rest. What they have been doing, we must continue with the same thing, because we are the ones who should be looking at what politicians are doing and telling them in their face what you are doing is wrong.
Absolutely. And that just brings us to the end of that. So as you've heard from the religious leaders, there is hope for the country. If there is something that, as a person or as a family or as an individual you're going through, get help. It doesn't hurt. In fact, they say a problem shared is a problem half solved. And by the way, it could be completely solved, right? Talk about it and you get a solution. So always be ready to share. So let's talk about the whole issue here. The drumbeats of politics, we can hear it sounding from afar. And slowly it's coming, and we can get the sound of politics. The drums, you know, they're ready. They're almost dancing to the tune of politics. It's going to be hard. Starting with you, Daktari.
Surely speaking, it's not starting.
Yes.
It is started.
It's already hard on us.
It is now actually at the summit of it.
Yes.
At the apex. You see, things which have started happening currently shows that now we are in campaigns. The campaigns we used to see 3 months to election is what we are seeing now. Actually, what I will tell Kenyans is that they must always try to look at their politicians. Where do they live? What do they drive? What do they eat? Where do they take their children when they are sick? As soon as they start seeing that, then they'll not be taken for a ride by politicians. And we religious leaders should now put a policy in all our places of worship that politicians will just come and pray like any other person. If they want to speak to the congregants, they should not use our pulpit. Let them go outside. Because they don't allow us to go to preach from the parliament. They don't allow us to go and preach from the State House. We visit State House many times. I've also met my brother there. But when you go there, we just go pray for the president. We go to parliament. I've been there many times. We go and pray for them. Then you keep quiet. Then they do their work. So when they come to church and mosque, let them know that now I'm the head of the mosque, the head of the church. They come and listen to everyone. Then they should not use the pulpit. If they want to meet people, here they can only greet them. But if they want to talk to them about politics, please go outside.
Bishop, he said a very important thing. It's a funny one, that you don't go to parliament to preach in parliament, in State House and what have you. But the question is, you are the people who give them that platform to politic, all right? Before you answer that, let's just take a break, and when we come back, we're still having this discussion. And by the way, you go to our social media and ask your questions. We have the gentlemen here who are helping us to talk about religion and politics. How are they interrelated? The drums of politics already here, and the way Dr. Kinyo has said, already imefika apo apex. So we'll be right back. Send in your questions or comments to them. We'll be sampling them during this particular program and until the tail end. We'll be right back after this break. People in Politics is on right now, and we are talking about religion and politics. How are these two connected? We've seen over and over and over and over again, politicians, anytime they go to any place of worship, they take charge. But the question I have for you, Daktari, Bishop, before we went on a break, you are the people who give them that platform.
Thank you so very much. That's a good question. And statement that we are the people that give these people the platform. Remember, they are part of our congregation. And not all preachers are the same. There are some. Just the other day, and I would mention the PCA Church has given a communique that they are not going to allow politics on their platform.
We've seen this before.
You have seen it before.
We've seen this before, some kind of communications banning politicians, but they'll always maneuver their way in.
That is politics. They are very sly. They will come and say they just want to greet people. I remember some 2 years ago at outside Serena Hotel, myself and another senior archbishop, we stood there and gave a presser saying that the politicians, when they come to church, for example, in fundraising and all that, there should not be fanfare. If they are coming to give, whatever they are giving, they should give quietly. In fact, the Bible says, your right hand should not know what your left hand has given. And soon after that, soon after we had given that communique, that we do not want the politicians to infiltrate into our pulpits, somebody was sent to me in person. He came to my office and warned me that I should keep off those lines. And he was very stern. In fact, he asked me, have you heard what I said? what he said, and I told him, yes, I have heard. You have been sent by politicians. They are trying to intimidate me. I have said no to corruption. In fact, we have faith communities against corruption. This is a publication that we have done, and it encompasses all the religions with the collaboration with the National Anti-Corruption Campaign Steering Committee.
Yes.
The other day, there was a big, in June, we had Church and Politics Summit in Westlands. So we've been threatened. Our names have been mud slammed.
Yeah.
But the word is, we as religious leaders are even urging our fellow religious leaders, kindly stop the politicians from interfering with the pulpit. It's a sacred place. So for me, they have tried and I have said no. Some, they have come with a carrot, dangling the carrot. I have said no. It is not easy. And so the thing is, it's our time to stand up and be counted, to lead this nation in the right path, to tell the politicians to tone down. There is a tomorrow. You see what they are doing. The other day, a politician grievously hits an ordinary Kenyan, and it was very sad. So our prayer is that from the religious side, we want to rededicate our pulpits back to the owner, and that is God. And please allow me at this juncture to thank the Muslim community, because even in their funerals, not a single politician is allowed to politic.
Then why is it that from other side of the corner, you allow politicians? Because anytime the mic is on, we see they take charge of the whole service.
I agree, and regrettably so. And what we are saying is, the way forward is to say no, just like the Catholic Church has done, the PCA Church has done, that yes, you can go and play your politics outside there. And you know why they run to church? It's because
there's a ready crowd.
There is a ready crowd.
There's a ready crowd.
They run there because we are believers. We believe that what they are telling us is true. But upon scrutiny, we find they are not true. And so, next election, I can tell them, and I would rather they listen to me. I'm a prophet in training. I have not qualified fully. But the tsunami that you have had is going to sweep over this nation. God is going to bring a turnaround. We are going to have the right people ruling over this nation. Because the sleeping giant, and I'm going to urge even our youth, who are the majority,
almost 70% of
70%. They should not just wait for somebody who has overeaten and is having indigestion to come and vomit at them. They should, in the Bible, if you allow me, in the book of Judges, chapter number 9, there is a man, he was a son of the great man called Gideon. And Gideon had other sons. He had actually 71 sons. So Abimelech was a son who was very ambitious. And he wanted to be the ruler of Israel under any cost. So he started a negative narrative. And we have had some negative narratives from the politicians. And he was able to persuade people to give him money and political will. And you know what he did? He went and slayed all the other 70 sons of Gideon, and he imposed himself to be king. Israel regretted it. And we as Kenyans, we should be awake and watch. In fact, that politician, we should have scrutiny. Is he a truthful person? We know money is a factor. Where did he get his or her money? Is that person a God-fearing person? Do we have Gideon factors in our politicians? do we have Daniel factor in our politicians?
Yes.
People who walk right, people ambao hawapori mali ya wengine. This is the kind of people in a few months' time
we will see them coming back to the ballot to seek for our votes.
And we are ready.
I'm going to ask you a question here, Sheikh.
Yes.
What is so hard just to say no to a politician the moment he is in a mosque or a place of worship? What is so hard in saying no to them? Follow our rule, this is it, give your offering and go. You are going to answer that, but before you do that, let me just cross over to my colleague Doreen to just give us some of the feedback we are getting from the viewers. Doreen, what do you have?
Came after the break. That was a very good question that you asked there in terms of are we, or is really the church just allowing these politicians in? And I'm actually from our various pages, we are having a lot of feedback in regards to that. Remember that you can also reach us via our various platforms. That is at KBC Channel 1 TV, at Jane One Boy, at Victor Oloo, at Ray Manyara, and at Doreen Aranga. The hashtag is Good Morning Kenya, or you can still use politics in church. Tell us what you think about that. And just to say what Wambua is saying here is that any politician in a church should be treated as any other church attendee. And now, Vic, before I continue sampling all this other feedback, perhaps I'd want to pose that question to our bishop. You know, just going by what Wambua is saying, I mean, when we treat these politicians as perhaps demigods or very important, is that what brings them constantly in church and perhaps for the wrong reasons? What does our bishop think?
Okay. What's any politician in church should be just treated as
normal,
an attendee. Is that so? Starting with you, Daktari.
Thank you so much. In fact, if you allow me, I will give my church colleagues an advice. And actually, I must commend my friend, Provost Wainaina. He's a great friend, actually, from ACK Church. But I've seen, we have been having conversation, and I've seen him doing what I told him to do. Because one thing I will advise the Christian church leaders, never reserve any seat in the church for any politician. You know, I play politics also in a way, and you'll always see me when politics come. And you can realize that sometimes you're with a politician and he can attend 5 church services in a day. So what happens is that he comes last. So wherever he comes, he knows where his seat is because there are people waiting for him outside.
In front.
He goes to the front. Then when the priest see that he has come, he'll not take more than 5 minutes to conclude what he's saying. Then he'll allow the priest, the politician come. The politician will give his, he'll take his moment, like 20-30 minutes. Then as soon as he finishes, he'll not sit to hear what the priest says. He goes to another church service because he's being waited somewhere. So he'll have attended 5 churches, but not to pray or listen to what the priest is saying, but to give his message because there is already crowd there. Let churches stop that. I give sermons, and actually Kenyans have been seeing me in KBC every Friday from 12:30 to 1 p.m. I'm sometimes in Masjid Imtiaz Ali, where I'm the head of religious affairs here in town. Politicians come pray there. When they come from parliament, they come and pray there. You'll never see them because they sit where they have come. In mosque, whoever comes first, even if it's the poorest, sits in front. I also give my sermons in Karen Mosque. Of course, almost all politicians live there. But when they come, they sit where they have found us. I also give sermons in Masjid South B, Al-Huda Mosque. So if the church start that, then the politician will know that I'll go to this church today. I will sit from the beginning to the end. I can give my message, but I must sit down to listen to my priest. Trying to critique what I have said so as to guide people. So that is what we should start doing, and we should not allow politicians to speak politics in the mosque or church. Let them be doing it outside.
All right. Before you respond to that, Doreen, if you have another one, maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, we still have one. Clearly, that was a good response from our sheikh. They are just agreeing with what Wambua is saying, that clearly politicians need not to be given a front seat. They need to sit anywhere, just like any other Kenyan who perhaps goes to church. Okay, so let's hear what Richard is saying. There is that at Richard Bosire saying Embu Diocese of the Catholic Church banned politicians from church events, including Harambe, and he has attached a file copy of that particular what the Embu Diocese said. Perhaps, you know, it's about different churches need to be doing that, banning all politicians from church events as well as also Harambes. We have KBC 62 saying that words from the Bible must be met with action by the clergy without cutting and pasting verses for church politics and selective reasoning. It seems these days the Catholic Church has become hyper-political, which started in 1980s, just showing that this is not something that has begun yesterday, going by that tweet, that perhaps it began from way back. And this is actually what our guests are addressing today, what we need to do to ensure that we stop all that. So let me just look at one last tweet. And again, I want our bishop to respond to this, because we had our sheikh responding to the first tweet. This is at Sandy Dill saying that it's so dangerous. I will never step foot in the church because of politics that usually go on in God's house. And perhaps I'd want our bishop to address this simply because we know church as being God's house, again, going by that tweet, being God's place, and an area or a place where people come to get solace. But because of the ongoing politics in various churches, to a point that congregants now saying that perhaps, you know, this is my last time to even attend a church, because when I go to church, I expect to be fed the word of God. But we have politicians taking the bigger time, just talking to us about matters politics. Bishop, what do you have to say in regards to that?
Bishop Sandy Bill says that it's so dangerous. I would never step in church because anytime he goes to church, the politicians take control. That's one person already running away from the church because of a politician. Does it worry you?
I think this is my day. I have really hard.
It seems you're getting more attacks today.
Not really. I think Kenyans are being very frank.
Yes.
And I would say, really, we are not here for blame game.
No.
But like what Dr. Kenyo has said, he advised for free, and I'm so very grateful, that we should not reserve special seats for the politicians in church. And because I know politicians are watching, please, when you go to a church and you find there is no special seat for you, don't blame the church. Blame Dr. Kenyo.
Yeah.
Take the blame.
He said it. Find your space.
Yes, find your space and be humble.
Yeah.
In fact, when you get into the compound, church compound, please remove your titles, remove your ambitions. You have gone to your Creator and to your God. Go there as a soul that is hungry and thirsty, that needs to be fed. So, yes, politicians are people. In fact, if anything, I have walked with them and I will continue walking with them. They are very needy people. They have a lot of masks they put on. If they remove these many masks, you discover this is a soul that is needy. This is a soul that needs chaplaincy. It's a soul that needs shepherding. And they have millions of problems. Of course, they call me and we talk, and of course, I know the other part of the politicians. So Wambua has requested that when these politicians come to church, we should treat them as other people, as common people. And the Bible is very clear that we should not be partisan. That if a rich man comes, we take him in front and give him a seat. If a poor man comes, we tell him either he goes at the back or ships away.
Wow.
That is wrong. It is wrong, and I would urge that the fact. Okay, now, in conclusion, I would want to say from my side that not all churches, if indeed ACK, just recently PCA, and many other churches that I know have said no politics.
In fact, there's a viewer who is even attached a copy from Embu, from Catholic, saying that there is no politics in a Catholic church in Embu.
Yes.
Right.
And so we should go by that. And again, I give this example that Kenya is a troubled nation. And if, for example, in your house, a bulb blows away, you don't bring down the whole house.
Change the bulb.
You change the bulb. If in the Christian world in Kenya, there are those who are causing us sleepless nights by allowing politics into the pulpit, there are one or two. They are not all of us. So let us bear with one another. And I would urge that you, the media, the fourth estate, you also help us in calling out those churches that are causing confusion to the sheep.
Yeah.
Because we need the pulpit to be left for God and God alone.
This goes back to you, Daktari here. So what is the role of the religious leaders? Because where we are heading to right now, as we started the show, the drums of politics actually is sounding so hard. And we'll be, you know, there are no political rallies because of the containment measures for the COVID-19, but politicians will always be so sly, they'll find their way. Town halls meetings, they'll go to churches, to mosques, and what have you. How are we going to save that common mwananchi who is so helpless, cannot stand and say, no, this is a place of worship, no politics? What are we going to do to help the situation?
What we'll do, actually, we are going to go back to our mandate.
Right.
Because we are told in Islam, al-ulama'u warathatul anbiya, that the scholars, the religious leaders, are the heirs of the prophets. We will take our part, we'll stand and take charge. We will not allow politicians to come and identify what we are teaching our people, because they are also part of us. They are also our congregants. They are also our constituents. All these politicians you see around, they come to us for prayers. We pray for them. For myself, actually, I have contacts of more than 100 politicians in Kenya who call me to go pray for them.
Bishop also said that they call them every day.
Yes, I go pray for them, even their homes, and they come to my office, at my home, and I always tell them, please, don't do what you're doing. And as soon as a politician goes haywire, if he doesn't listen to us, you'll never see us anytime being with them. I know what I mean, because people have seen me with some politicians, but as soon as they have gone wrong, I have been the first one to attack them, because I'm attacking them on behalf of the poor in Madare, on the poor, attacking them on behalf of the poor in Kibera and other places. Those are people I'm serving. I'm not serving the...
So the question is, so what is the role of now you as the religious leaders, even as we head to this hotly contested political season right now in 2022? What is your role?
My role is to...
as religious leaders, yes.
As religious leaders, actually, my role is to call for the righteous and stop the immorality amongst anyone.
Bishop, do you think your work is cut out for you?
Very well.
Right.
In fact, one is the prophetic mandate. The prophetic mandate is to call people back to the ways of God. Our prophetic mandate is to give people hope. The other role that we have is that of awareness. What are the times that we are living in? For example, right now, and I want to mention, they are very good Kenyans. Every Sunday, we feed hundreds, actually thousands of families, ready meal. And this one comes from good well-wishers, people who give their money and time. Because the times are hard, can we stretch our hand and help one another? So we of course do awareness, and our other role is to call for behavioral change. Because a politician is a human being who has acquired wrong behaviors. Not all, because I know there are good politicians who are out there to serve humanity. But there are those others who are like from Judges chapter 9, from verse 1. Abimelech, the guy who would kill his brothers, he killed 70 of them so that he can rise into power. So we call them to change their behavior. We call them to change their mindset. And learning is very hard. And because people cannot remain in a vacuum, we have now to teach them ethics. We have to teach them morality. We have to rebuke their immorality. Because we have seen it, even our children.
But Bishop, somebody will say that as much as you want to rebuke the immorality, a politician will come with some good, what we call sadaka, and you say, today amekuja, mheshimiwa ndio huyo. So you are the people who allow them in the pulpit. Are they, because you know today is going to be my day. We
are learning the hard way. The politicians come, they have made their money, and you cannot tell this money. In fact, you cannot tell where they get the money. And when they bring, there are those
who say they have business and salary.
They have business. Others said they were doing this, and so that is how they acquired billions. The religious leader, hear the voice of God. Stop defiling the pulpit. there is more. Actually, our Lord Jesus Christ asked a question.
Yeah.
What would it benefit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his soul? So the soul is what we should look after and be very careful. And religious leaders are also human. They are tempted. They have bills to pay. They have fuel they have families to take care of, their family, and so they are tempted. They are human beings. And I said we are not here for blame games.
No.
But like we are welcoming even for the state to call out those who are not walking in the right way.
Yes.
And I know you are doing it.
Yes.
You're doing it, and you should continue. But then our duty will be to heal. Our duty will be to call home the wayward preacher, the wayward politician, and so that the wayward journalist, the wayward lawyer.
That was not meant for me.
No, it's not for you. You people are doing good work. But that apple that is spoiling the other apples, before we discard it, we throw it into the bin. We'd want to have heart-to-heart talk with that person who is wayward, with that preacher who is doing immoral things, with that businessman who is doing an ethical business. We sit with them and seek. That is our role as religious leaders, how they can have a mind change, behavioral change, and we can listen to them.
My director says that time is almost coming to an end, but then now, let me ask this question. So how do we bridge the gap between the politicians and, the flock and, the Kenyans in general? How do we bridge that gap so that we know there is a very thin line between you as a congregant and you as a politician and that person who is also attending, a sermon or a mosque or a church? How do we draw that line so that we see that all of us are the same? Starting with you, even as you bring your closing remarks.
Thank you so much. The way we can do that is just to emulate what our prophets were doing, and also make sure that when politicians come to church or mosque, they be the same, at the same pace, at the same level as other people. And I'll give just a good example. When our President Uhuru Kenyatta came to Jamia Mosque for Iftar last year, he came and sat down. And we didn't, when a politician come in the mosque, as soon as he enters the mosque, we always tell them that this is the house of God. We don't worship anyone before God, with God. So when you come to our mosque, leave your bodyguards aside. They cannot be every time with you around. You are in mosque. This is the house of God. If you knew that you are coming to mosque and you feel that there are people who might kill you even in mosque, don't come to mosque. We don't want to see those bodyguards, bouncers around you everywhere in mosque. No, we'll never allow that. You come, you sit where you have found us in. And I've prayed with many politicians, and they come to my mosque. And one thing, in mosque, there is the pulpit where I preach from.
Yes.
That pulpit, my friend, even the billionaire who sponsors the mosque cannot step there.
It's a holy ground.
That is the holy ground. No one will step there. It is for imam only. The imam can be riding a bicycle or walking on foot, and the other person will come with bodyguards, but he cannot touch that pulpit. So I think if the church do the same, they make sure that when a politician come and the politician come late, he should sit there at
and
the
listen
back
to the
there.
word. Listen to the
Listen
word.
to what's happening.
Yeah.
If you want to speak to the congregants, you wait for them when they are going out. Because out there now, that is another ground.
Yes.
But in the church, in the mosque, we should not allow any politician to come and do anything. And I think the last one is to advise, if you are Muslim, just do like Malcolm X did. Muslim leaders should go and read what Malcolm X did. If they are Christians, let them go and read what Martin Luther King was doing.
Right.
If they are Hindu, let them go and learn what Mahatma Gandhi did. And we will be the best in this world, and we will make people become at the same pace with the politician. Lastly, no one should elect any tainted, corrupt politician in this country.
Thank you. Thank you. Bishop?
Yes.
Is there hope for this country?
Yes, there is hope. And I would say that we have spoken a lot about the politician, and the bad one at that.
Yes.
And the question is, could you be there and you are a good person? You should join politics. a man, a woman of God with the right ethics, moral stand, that is what we are missing.
Yeah.
Bold men and women, the Moses of today, we are missing from Exodus chapter number 3, when God spoke to Moses and said, I have seen the trouble my people are going through, and I've heard their cry. And Moses was singled out by God. So I would want to tell the Christians, because actually they shy away from the world of politics, is that politics is okay. One example we have, an international example, is the Malawian president, who is a bishop of Kenya, I mean, not Kenya.
Yes.
He's a bishop of Assemblies of God.
Yeah, yes.
And so I know we are starved of time.
Yeah, we're starved of time.
The good person who is not going out there to serve is equally guilty.
Yes.
By allowing the wrong crooks who are out there, who are oppressing the Kenyans.
All right. Bishop, allow me just to stop there. But the director says that I'll be fired. I don't want to lose my job.
You become a bishop.
A good one. A good one. Promise me that next time, because moving forward, we'll need more of these encouragements, because we have to get the right thing at the right time, moving toward, even as we head towards the next general election. Thank you so much. We have been talking to Bishop John Warari, who is executive member of the Interreligion Council of Kenya and also a lecturer of theology, as well as we have Dr. Sheikh Kinyua. Thank you so much for joining us. He's also a lecturer of religious studies at the University of Nairobi. All right, we are not yet done. We are taking a break, but we'll be right back with more. Stay around.